Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. I know, we had lots of fun, didn't we? Boy, we sure did. Yeah. Well, thank you. I like to think that I played a good show. Yeah. Oh, I saw you out there dancing. I know, 6-bar break, right? I know, I saw you out there. You were jamming along, and you had a great time at Cyrus's house, didn't you? No, you didn't have a good time at Cyrus's house. The dog kept trying to use you as a chew toy. Come on, look at you. Hey. What? It's not like you don't. Come on, what? I get so picky sometimes. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again back to the GainerWorld International Complex in a bunker somewhere in the Midwestern United States for another weekly show of comedy, talent, music, and anything else we can meticulously slap together in the space of an hour. This is GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer, in case you haven't figured that out yet. And you notice this set looks a little different this week. Yes, you can see that back there. We'll explain that in just a second. But as you can tell, this is what we do. This is our show. This is kind of this is the kind of thing that we do. We just get together for once a week. And we just kind of let our hair down and talk amongst ourselves. As you can tell, we've got this really cool thing over here. It's our little chat bot. And as a matter of fact, our occasional guest host and brother from another mother, Chris King, is on the line right now. He says, your name is not Tim, it's Normad. No, it's really not. I don't know what you say. And driving sucks. Yes, we'll get to that in just a second. And Melissa Long has popped in. Good evening, Melissa. Good to see you again, hon. Always great to hear from you. So let's get a couple of things out of the way. First off, yes, it is made public. Tomorrow is my 65th birthday. And my assistant decided that they wanted to put that up there and let everybody know, thinking that it was going to embarrass me or something. But actually, I'm kind of happy about that. You know, I'm really glad that at least somebody remembered. So we got that going for us. Secondly, as far as driving sucks, yes. I had to drive. For those of you not in the Midwest, more near the East Coast of the United States, there was a storm that blew through here that was less than favorable. And I drove from a gig in Pennsylvania back to Chicago in the middle of that storm. It did not. Happy birthday tomorrow from the Incredible Edibles Band. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that, my friend. Always good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the show. It started raining outside of Altoona, and it just got progressively worse as I kept going. Like to the point where by the time I got to South Bend, Indiana, it was like 50 feet visibility on a highway with trucks blasting past me. And here I was in this little rental RAV4, just kind of holding on for dear life. But obviously, we got past that. So, there's all that going on. The reason I was out there is very simple. We did a show, a charity event last weekend in Gettysburg for the Four Diamonds, and I want to thank everybody that came out to the show, everybody that participated. We raised more than $10,000 to fight childhood cancer for the Four Diamonds Foundation. Myself, people like Rebecca Foster, Megan Paulette, 6-Bar Break, Lattimore Sky. The list just went on and on, and just some amazing talent. Got to see some some great, got to meet some new friends, got to touch in with old ones. Yes, it is amazing, Melissa. You're absolutely right about that. So yeah, we got to get all kinds of neat stuff. Had a great time, and my back's still hurting for it. And I don't care who knows. Yeah, I'm 65. I can do that now. Hey, birthday boy, says Elena Kazvinsky, who stopped in. Hey, Elena, always good to see you and the Danimal. Oh, yeah. Always good to see that. Just passing through, but want you to know that Dan was the one who remembered first. Enjoy your special day tomorrow. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. And don't just pass through. Come on, we're here for an hour. Stay. Relax. It's okay. I have water. I have coffee. Might even be cake. Who knows? Depends on Ben Gay. Yeah, I'm telling you, Advil and Ice, man, that's where we're at right about now. I don't mind telling you. But it was a great time. And again, thank you to everybody who donated. Thank you to everybody who came out to the show. Thank you to everybody who participated. All the venues, there's something like 10 venues that were putting on all this music simultaneously. Had a great time. Don't mind telling you. Also, thanks to Cyrus Gray, who sat in with me live on the show last week. If you haven't seen that after this show, please, by all means, go back and check the archives on the channel. We sat and talked for an hour about the state of music and all kinds of neat things like that. And generally had a great time. It was a great week, and I really, really am happy that I got to go out there and see the new office, the new Hugs office. Got to meet with the Chumps, did the Hug show over the course of last week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So had a great time there. It was a terrific week, and I got you to thank for it. I really do, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, thank you, even though it's number 2 this week, thank you for 2 weeks. Love on the Line, number 1 on the Hugs charts. That's your doing. That you did that, fellow YouTuber, and I am greatly, greatly appreciative of it. Dan's primary interest in your birthday is that you should have cake, especially chocolate. You're half right, Dan. I do love me a good cake, and I understand there may be one coming tomorrow. Okay, I'm not getting a whole lot of cooperation as far as information goes. I'm a vanilla kind of guy. I'm going to catch flack for this. I never really liked chocolate. I mean, lately I've been getting like chocolate candy. But chocolate milk, chocolate cake, things like that, I'm a vanilla guy. Or lemon, banana, like in there. But, cake is cake. I'm like you, man. Cake is cake. And if it's served to me, I'm going to eat it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's that. It was say. No. Don't even go there, King. Don't even try going there. I said there's certain kind of chocolate that I like. Okay? No, I'm not prejudiced against chocolate. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Anyway. Yeah. So we had a great week out in Pennsylvania, and obviously we're back here now doing our thing. I hope you do. I hope you do, mister. Due to the fact that the assistant likes chocolate, I will probably end up with a chocolate cake tomorrow. I'm just saying. Okay? Don't get your panties in a bunch, brother. Just saying. So all that's going on. There's a couple of things that happened, though, while I was gone that I didn't get a chance to address. But since I am back home, and, let's face it, it's my show. I can talk about these, and I want to discuss these with you, the viewer, as well, because, it's that time of year again. Let's get another report from 2022, the year of the dead rock star / movie star. One thing that happened while I was gone, and I was very bummed about this. As a matter of fact, the day I was leaving, I heard about this. One of my heroes, one of my absolute heroes, we lost. Ian McDonald. Now, you may not know that name, but you have heard his music. He was a multi-instrumentalist, and he was also a founding member of two of my favorite bands. And by the way, Liz Jack has just checked in and said, I'll tell her. I'm sure you will. I have no doubt in my mind. Because you do like to tattle on me every now and then, don't you? Ian McDonald, multi-instrumentalist and a founding member of two of my all-time favorite bands, King Crimson and Foreigner. Sadly, we lost a couple weeks ago at the age of 75. He passed away peacefully in his sleep in New York City. He's one of the founding members of King Crimson, who he was on just that incredible album, In the Court of the Crimson King, that was released back in 1969. And no, he wasn't with Oppa and the Bee Gees, Chris. He was a founding member of Foreigner. Of course, you know Foreigner. Do I really even have to go into the history of that band? Jukebox Hero, Urgent, Star Rider, Head Knocker, just a magnificent. He was a great producer. He also did a solo album with Michael Giles in 1970 that was critically received. Yeah, it's just a real sad thing. He really did quite a bit to further music. And speaking of which, that's how my grandfather passed and how I would like to pass, says Chris, peacefully in my sleep. I hear you. Me too. Don't feel bad. I'm totally that way myself. I believe me, I get it. But yeah, hail and farewell to Ian McDonald, one of my heroes from King Crimson and Foreigner, gone at the age of 75. Really a drag. And that happened while I was gone. Not screaming like the passengers in his car. Yeah. Well, they couldn't do a whole lot because they had the cinder blocks tied to their necks. So, there was that going. Another thing that happened last week, too, that I really want to discuss with you, the viewer, because anybody who is I've noticed that anybody who likes this show is a music fan like moi. And as a result of this, and I get into this argument with this people, I get into this as an argument with people every year. And the reason that I do is because, well, to be really honest with you, every year I like to think to myself that one of these days the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to come back to its senses. Now, when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame started in, 1986, 1987? They were doing the right thing. They were taking people that were influencers of the genre, people that made it, for lack of a better term, made it happen. People that were innovators, people that were trendsetters, people that really blazed the trail for rock and roll music. They obviously brought in, the heavy hitters in the beginning: Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, the Beatles, the Stones. But it's getting to that point now where let's just say either the well's getting dry or it's just turned into a gigantic smoking club. And I'll give you an example, okay? This is the list of nominees. These are the nominees this year for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, okay? Follow this with me and tell me if you don't think this is probably the most eccentric list of people that you will ever want to see, okay? This year's nominees, not the class of 2022, but the nominees are Pat Benatar, Bush, Devo, Beck, Duran Duran, Eminem. You beginning to see a pattern here? Yeah, me neither. Judas Priest, the New York Dolls, the MC5, Fela Kuti, Rage Against the Machine, Lionel Richie, A Tribe Called Quest, Dionne Warwick, and Carly Simon. Say what? As I said before, people who had a stamp on were innovators of or advanced the genre of rock and roll music. That was the original criteria for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, if you're a fan, you know that myself and Chris and Simon Lee, and Carl Keegan, we would talk about this every single year. And I used to catch crap from Chris and Simon all the time about this. But it bothers me because people, somehow along the way, this turned into a smoking club. And even, I see Gary just saying right off, pathetic. I don't know about pathetic. I know about eccentric. There's a few people. Here's the way that I do this every year. I make up two lists. The lists of people that I think should be in that class out of the nominees, and the people that are ultimately going to be. The reason that I say they should be in there is because I follow the criteria. They were innovators, they were pioneers, they helped further the cause of rock and roll. The people that are going to be in there is because, hey, they hang out with Jan Wenner and they campaign and maybe, make a couple of substantial donations and therefore become part of the smoking club. Chris is saying this, and Chris has said this every year, and this is what it's turning into. It is the Music Hall of Fame, not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's what it's beginning to turn into. And if that's the case, then they have something for that. It's called the Grammys. It's called the Lifetime Achievement Award. What's the point? Ironically, I passed by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last night. Couldn't stop, because if I did, I would have ended up in a ditch. But that's another story. Now, here are the people out of that class that I think should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay? The people that I think should be in, and if you don't agree with me, please, by all means, talk to me in the chat. If you are watching the replay of this, please check the comments down below. The people that I think should be in that list this year are Pat Benatar, simply because the work she did in the 80s with Neil Giraldo was groundbreaking and helped women in music, really furthered the cause in a very, very big way. Okay? Also, how can you deny Judas Priest? The Godfathers of Metal, I'll say one of the Godfathers of Metal. Okay? One of the Godfathers. Along that line, I also feel Rage Against the Machine should be in. By all means. They politicized, they brought politics back to rock and roll, which was very prevalent in the 60s, for those of you who may not remember. And also, how can you possibly deny the New York Dolls? Come on. What Jake Johansson did with that band is just amazing. Is just amazing. That's who I think should be in. Now, Chris is saying in the chat here, the point is that not everyone receives a Lifetime Achievement Award. The Grammys are recognized sales. No, well, the Grammys originally were to promote excellence in recording. Remember who puts it on? The National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. So the Grammys were along the same lines to promote and award people who made substantial contributions to the furtherment and betterment of music overall. But again, that's turned into a smoking club altogether. That's another story for another show. Now, also, I would like to say, I would also put Kate Bush in that class. If you don't know who Kate Bush is, you need to. I'll just say that. Now, here is who I think is going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That list was people that I think should be. Now I'm going to think like Jan Wenner. This is who is going to be in the 2022 class of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is going to be Pat Benatar, Judas Priest, Eminem, the New York Dolls, Dolly Parton. You heard me. I said Dolly Parton. And of course, Lionel Richie. These are the people that I think will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chris, I tend to disagree with that. If you and I thought halfway along the lines of the original criteria for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, then yes, you're right. Tribe Called Quest would definitely get in before Eminem does. How many people know who Tribe Called Quest was as compared to how many people know Eminem is? That's your criteria. That's why he's going to get in. Does he deserve to be in there? No, not for a second. In fact, here's my thinking. And again, this is where I'm going to get into real trouble here. This is where people are going to give me stuff. And I don't care. Because I make this argument every year. You can't. Q-Tip is the master of the 8-bar loop, integral to the foundation of hip-hop. Well, if that's the case, then where's Curtis Blow? Where's Grandmaster Flash? Oh, wait a minute. No, I take that back. Grandmaster Flash did come in. He did get in, so my apologies for that. Be that as it may, though, every year I make this argument, but this argument has taken on a life form of its own. And I'll give you an example. Classic Rock History, the magazine, the online magazine. You'd be surprised how many people actually know who Tribe Called Quest is. I mean, I know who they are. I thought they were, and you're right, they were integral. They were integral to the formation of hip hop. I get it. But again, you got to think like the Hall. You got to think like the board of members. I don't know about this Tribe Called Quest, but I certainly know that Eminem guy. Yeah, he did that Wicca Wicca. Hello, my name is Wicca. Yeah, I know that. Sure, he did that thing from that movie, didn't he? Gary said never heard of him. That's okay, man. I get it. But help me out with this one. Again, I get this. I make this argument every year. But Classic Rock History Magazine has really upped the ante on this. They actually put out in one edition of their magazine, they made a list of 150 artists that should be included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just based on the original criteria alone. And then they opened it up to the readers of their magazine, who offered their own suggestions. So, long story short, I have a list in my hand of 203 artists that people believe should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but are not. Now, obviously, because we only have an hour show, I'm not going to go through, obviously, all 200. What I did, people who follow Eminem's career know A Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, to a certain degree, you're right. I understand that. I'm not going to go through all 200 of these. What I did was I picked out five artists out of this list, and just so you know, I picked them out randomly, with the exception of two. So three of them are random. Two I totally and completely, I'm totally sincere with. Don't follow Eminem either. I didn't plan on following Eminem. My son Eric was a huge fan and bought his first three albums and would play them constantly around the house. And some of the stuff that he did was pretty good. I thought Stan was a great track. The one that he did for 8 Mile, the movie, I thought was really good. A couple of tracks off his first two albums I thought were really, humorous, if nothing else. He's good. Would I go to see him in concert? No. But that's me. Your mileage may vary. Again, music is art and art is subjective. Speaking of which, these are five artists that are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These are five artists that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. These are five artists that you will probably never see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm using every single kind of logic, both from the listener and the hall standpoint, to justify these. The first one that really comes to my mind, okay, you got the Beatles in as a group. You have all four of the individual members in the Hall of Fame for their solo work. Then please explain to me why Ozzy's solo work is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Blizzard of Oz alone justifies it. Diary of a Madman totally justifies it. He did great work. Just the stuff that he did with Randy Rhoads alone justifies it. Why isn't Ozzy Osbourne considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Well, gee, Tim, you may say to yourself, these guys are just a little too old. Okay, maybe, you need to look at somebody a little bit more modernistic. Okay. Then please explain to me why television isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No, Chris, it has nothing to do with the bat thing, although that I can see why you would say that. Television, one of the purveyors of punk rock, one of the purveyors of emo. Okay, yeah, they only made one album, but my God, what that one album did. You're going to tell me that that's not justifiable? Are you kidding me? Really? Yeah, but Tim, they maybe they were just a little too thrashy. Maybe you ought to go back to what you were thinking. Maybe you should have somebody who really innovated and did something for rock and roll music. Okay. Then why isn't Dick Dale in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? King of the surf guitar? The guy that gave us Miserlou? The guy that did more with the guitar in the span of 4 years than anybody could possibly do to really promote the instrument and make it what it turned out to be? Really? Oh, Tim, you're not thinking right. You need people that are really, really innovative. People that really, really did something for the genre of music. Somebody who really changed it. Okay. Why isn't King Crimson in the Hall of Fame? They literally invented an entire genre of music that we now know today as prog or progressive rock. Made one of the top albums of all time in 1969 with their debut in the Court of the Crimson King. Why aren't they? Oh, Tim, you're taking this way too seriously. It's about rock and roll. It's about fun. It's about being able to dance. Okay. And let me preface this one by saying I always catch crap for this one. But I will keep harping on it until the day I die. Why aren't the Monkees in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Headquarters in 1967 was the number one album for 1 week until it was displaced by Sgt. Pepper. That's just 5 out of a list of 200 that people have all said the same thing. Why aren't these bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Gary, you mentioned Grand Funk Railroad. Guess who the number one artist was on this list from classic rock history? Okay. I mean, I'll just read you the top 10 off of this list. Number 1 was Grand Funk Railroad. 2 was Jethro Tull. 3 was Foghat. 4 was Foreigner. 5 was Boston. 6 was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. 7 was Pat Benatar. 8 was Three Dog Night. And 9 was Steppenwolf. 10 was Kansas. That's just the top 10. And what's even freakier is if you go to the Reader's Choice list, it gets even weirder than that. The top 10 from that list was, number 1 was Procol Harum. 2 was Joe Walsh. 3 was Phil Collins. 4 was Glenn Campbell. 5 was the Fugs, which makes sense. 6 was Spirit. 7 was Alice in Chains. 8 was the Monkees. 9, the B-52s. And 10 was Poco. Bands that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I guarantee you, maybe about 10% of these bands who did so much for the genre of music. I mean, Boston, Tom Scholz alone, for the work that he did to advance electric guitar and accessories, the soundage of it. But will you ever see them in there? No. But we'll get Eminem in there. We'll try to get Lionel Richie in there. We'll try to get Dolly Parton in there. If anybody ever gets a chance, if anybody ever passes this on to Jan Wenner, just tell him I just want to know what question. One question. What happened? What happened? Who paid you off? Are you getting that much flack from the recording conspiracy? These are people that furthered the genre, that gave you a job. Remember that, Jan? You were an editor for Rolling Stone. Remember that? Remember what they used to do? Talk about music and politics and screw the president and all that. Remember that, Jan? You'd never sell out, huh? I got 200 ways to show that you did. Yeah. Let's get Lionel Richie in there. Like I said, I have this argument with people every year. If you have an opinion on this, please, I'm more than happy to share it with you and discuss it with you. You can do that right here in the chat. If you're watching the replay, let us know down below. Who would you like to see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Who has not been in there yet? Who do you think should be? And am I that far off in my list of who will be? We'll find out. In the meantime, like I said, pathetic. No, there's, like I said, there's a few bands. Something that Judas Priest will get in this year. Judas Priest will get in. Beck, I would like to see, but not on first ballot. That sends out a really bad message. But Beck, I loved Odelay. I thought that was an amazing album. I really do. I just loved that album so much. I and my boys used to play that constantly in the house when it came out. Loved that. Rage Against the Machine should definitely be in. They may get in. I doubt it. But yeah. New York Dolls. Yeah, they did quite a bit. They took the glam rock thing and took it to the next level. And I think that was a great thing for them. But Dolly Parton. What? Dolly Parton. Why? Because of all the really rockin' heavy stuff that she did with Porter Wagner? And Lionel Richie. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Hell yeah! Let's do this before I get at it, before I get crazy. Let me do one of the songs that I did. One of the songs that I did over the weekend. Again, to the people that were in Gettysburg, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for donating. We raised over $10,000 for the Four Diamonds to help fight childhood cancer, and I was really happy and proud to be a part of that. But let me do this. Yeah, played this song. I was pretty happy about it. Come back, baby, hear me crying that I need you now. Hey, come back, baby, dear, I'm dying. Let me show you how. Broken hearted and I'm sinking fast. When I first got started, I was sure we was gonna last. Till the good times got to roll until they roll right past. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Woke up this morning with the blues all around, darkened up my sky. Then came the dawn, but the day came and saved me, and it caught my eye. Made me special and you made me crawl. Around your heart you built a stone cold wall, till you got to loving girl and then you loved them all. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Back, baby, don't you hear me crying that I need you now. Hey, run back, baby, dear, I'm dying. Let me show you how. Broken hearted and I'm sinking fast. When I first got started, I was sure we was gonna last. Till the good times got to roll until they roll right past. Hey, honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Hey honey, come on back home to me. These lovesick blues are killing me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of the songs we had a lot of fun with, hanging out last week, making money. Thank you, sir. Certainly do appreciate that as always. Sorry we were so late to the fair with playing the music this week, but as you can tell, I had a little bit of a rant I had to get off my chest. So there's that. So yeah, some of the stuff that went on last week, and again, as I said last week while we were out there, we got to see the all-new Hug Studio. Put some pictures of that up on my Facebook page. You want to check that out. It's coming along very nicely. And we're also getting some love, believe it or not, from the good folks at the BBC, across the pond, if you will, where a lady by the name of Melissa Truscott, or Trudy Truscott, I beg your pardon. Sorry, Trudy. Didn't mean to mess up a beautiful name. It's late. I'm tired. I'm still suffering from white line fever from the trip home. They actually took one of our songs, or took one of the Hug songs. Great song called "I'm Human" by Megan Paulette and Tony Esquire, playing it, and gave Hugs lots of love, and mentioned us, and we're finding out that a lot of stuff, a lot of Gainer music is going to be played over in Australia now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that at the same time. The Aussies showing a little bit of love like that. Appreciate that. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. What happened while I was gone? You guys talk to me. It was a very long week. And the drive home was even longer. Oh man. Chris at the beginning of the show said driving sucks. This time I usually when I go out to Pennsylvania, I usually fly out because it's just convenient that way. It really is. I'm really glad I didn't this time, but at the same time, I really wish I had. Because you have to understand that while I was in Pennsylvania, most of the time, okay, so when I went out there, I purposely rented an SUV with four-wheel drive. My thinking being, I'm going to be in the foothills of the Adirondacks. I'm going to be in the foothills of the Shenandoah Mountains. It's February. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be crazy. And I don't want to fall off a cliff. So I'm going to get an SUV, four-wheel drive. I'll be safe. Yeah. 50s and 60s the whole time there. Meanwhile, I'm getting notes from my people back here. Hey, you'd better be home early because there's this terrible storm that's coming. It's going to dump 6 inches of snow. It's going to be a blizzard condition. It's not going to be pretty. And I'm thinking to myself, it can't be. It's 60 degrees here. So I drove my four-wheel drive SUV, a Toyota RAV4, by the way, courtesy of the good folks at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise, sponsor of the show, competitive rates. It started raining in outside of Altoona. And it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse the further I went. Got on I-70 heading west. Started raining a little bit. Got really rainy by the time I got to the state line. By the time I got just outside of Ohio, this really weird phenomenon went on where it stopped raining and there was this little area. If you looked up in the sky, it looked like about this, and it was actually clear. And I went, oh, okay, it's going to stop raining. Maybe a little bit of sunshine. Who knows? Bam! Starts sleeting. Went from 60s and rain to 30s and sleet like that in the space of about 10 minutes. This is not an exaggeration. And it kept getting worse the entire way. Long story short, by the time I got to South Bend, Indiana, I had maybe about 50 feet of visibility going down 8090 rather. And of course, you've got all these trucks. I mean, they're coming right past you. I stopped counting the amount of trucks that had fallen off the road, fell over, or jackknifed at 16 by the time I got home. That's how bad it was. Let's see. Chris is saying, had my convention sustained foot ulcerations before it even before it even started good. Healing well, though. Need 2 more weeks. Had to cancel my trip to D.C. No kidding. Now, was that because of the rain? Was that because of your driving? Or was that because of the show itself? You gotta let me know about that, Chris. Yeah. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. And as a matter of fact, I happen to know for a fact that Melissa Long lives in the Cleveland area. So you know what I'm talking about. It was not a good night. It was not a good night the other night. No, because of the ulcer. Okay. Man, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, hope you're back on your feet soon, dude. And I don't mean that sarcastically. We added a keyboard player to the edibles. Yeah, Gary, I read that. I read where you guys have a keyboard player now. And that's very cool. And have you explain this to me now? For those of you who are reading this chat and going, "What is he talking about?" Gary is a member of an amazing band out in the Olympia, Washington area called the Incredible Edibles Band. That they've had several hits on the Hugs chart. Gary's one of these people that I fear because anytime the Edibles come out with a new song, it immediately goes to number one and makes all of us cringe and fear. So, yeah, so you've got a keyboard player now, and have you still got the two drummers? Are you still doing the Grateful Dead thing? Because I'd heard a rumor that you had. Melissa was saying that, no, I worked until 9. The parking lot was literally a skating rink. That does not surprise me. Like I said, as soon as I hit the Ohio state line, the sleet started, and it just kept getting slushier as I went along. And when it finally started turning to snow, and the snow started accumulating on the highway, that's when things started getting a little freaky. One drummer, Scotty. Okay. All right, that's cool. Incredible Edibles, by the way, are one of the bands that you're going to be seeing in Hugs Fest, July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Olympia, Washington. Keep watching the Hugs website, hugs@WRGG, spell it out, HUGSAT, we'll give you all the information on that. Yes, this Gainer is going to be there. Yes, everybody that you know and love from the Hugs roster is going to be there. You don't want to miss this show. And the Incredibles will be there, to be sure, because that's their hometown, and they can do that because they can. And that's the last 4 letters of the word American. I can. That's right. So, lots going on there. All kinds of things happening besides my brush with death. Yeah, I got this I got to contend with. Yeah, I hope you get better real soon, pal. I really hope you do, because I'll be honest with you. One of the things that happened to me during this trip, right now, I'm comfortable as hell. Don't make me stand up. The back pain, I don't know if it's because of this, okay? I think it's just old age and it's creeping up with me finally. But I stand up for more than 20 seconds and I'm hurting. I mean hurting for certain. Unpacking the car last night was not fun. He's healing like Wolverine. So does that mean you're coming out with the, I just want to know. Because if you are, on the upside, taking you out to Long John Silver's would probably be really humorous because you can just sit there and just cut the, like Edward Scissorhands. You can just cut the food like that. I want to see you do that. Mm-hmm. Got a buck says you can't. You were driving for long periods of time, lots of pressure on the spine. Yeah, I can understand that. Plus, Saturday I was having last Saturday I was having a lot of fun. Catching up with a lot of friends from bands, hanging out. Didn't party or anything. Didn't party or anything like that. Not by a long shot did we party. Not that we want Tim to party like that, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So happy about that. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pretty happy about it myself. Like I said, we had a great time. It was the first solo acoustic show that I had done in 15 years. So it was like I was legitimately nervous. Normally I've got the band behind me that I can, call on. Not this time. Pardon me. Sugar coma. And like I said, white line fever, y'all. White line fever. Got back here about midnight last night. And then I made the mistake of staying up and watching Olympic curling. Have you guys watched the Winter Olympics at all? I was kind of following that before I left. And I really, to be very honest with you, I really I really made a point of I made a point of getting into curling. I don't know why. There's just, maybe it's that scene in Help. I don't know. Well, watching a bunch of sweaty guys in sweaters take a 40-pound rock and hurl it down the ice. It just fascinates the hell out of me. Yeah, see, now Chris knows. Chris says curling is awesome. For some reason, I just really, I'm following the U.S. team. I'm following the Canadian team. Last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, sure enough, Canada and Sweden, here we go. Competition for the gold. I had to watch it. And not the Jamaican bobsled team. Stop it. They had nothing to do this time. Nothing to do. Although there's no Russian team this year. There's just the Russian Olympic Committee. What the heck is up with that? Is Russia so cheap they can't even afford their own team anymore? They have to have it. They have to have a GoFundMe put together by the Olympic Committee. What the heck is up with that? And of course, what happens? One of their skaters gets busted for doping. Well, that's okay. She can stay on. And then what happens? She blows it in the final round. Did you hear about that? They let her in. She's tearing it up throughout the rest of the competition. She's a shoo-in for gold. And then I think it was either yesterday or today, she did her final program. And I think she fell twice or something like that. So yeah, Jamaica. There is one this year. Is there really Jamaican bobsled team? Please tell me you're joking. If there's a Jamaican bobsled team, after this show is over, I'm running downstairs, I'm turning on Peacock, and I'm looking for this competition. As God is my witness, I will do it. Coffee talk. Yeah, that's usually how we do it, hon. This is I usually have a cup of coffee and 2 bottles of water with me, and a guitar. And for an hour, we call this entertainment. No joke. Oh my God. That's okay. Then I have to watch it. I literally have to watch. I'm going down afterwards and I am going to watch the Jamaican bobsled team. I'm watching bobsledding. I'll tell you who really let me down though this year though is Shaun White. I really thought Shaun was going to go out in a blaze of glory. And he couldn't even get past the prelims, I heard. I didn't get a chance to see it. I've been busy. Coffee talk. Call me. We'll talk. Russia is so cheap. I'm here to tell you. What's with these guys? Sure, we can go bomb Ukraine, but try to get a skater in without, some kind of cream on them. But, hey, that's okay. It's not a problem. I understand completely. But in any case, so that's gonna do it from here for this week. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the assistant, by the way, for doing this. I really do appreciate it. Melissa, don't think I won't. 555-4444. That's right. Call me. For coffee, we'll talk. 555-4444. Anyway, that's going to do it from here. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Get this damn shot. Wear the damn mask. You'd be surprised how many people still aren't. And, you hear about people still getting sick. Let's get rid of this dang thing, okay? Let's do that. Be good to each other. And also, please, subscribe to the channel. Almost at 100. Almost. It means nothing in YouTube land, but it means something for my ego. Okay? Just that simple. Tell your friends. We'll have them come back next week. 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. That's 0200 GMT. We'll have some coffee. We'll talk. Okay? Subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. I'm going to go celebrate. Will out. We'll see you next week. Peace.